Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on this Chill with Jim episode where it is always business up top and pajamas on the bottom. I am your host, Jim McCarthy, and I am the client advocate for Strix, Louisiana. My job is to make sure that our clients are set up with all the best equipment, the best software, and the best IT solutions to help make sure that their businesses are running at optimal efficiency. We also have David DeArmond, the owner of Strix, with us.
Hi, I am David DeArmond, owner of Strix, Louisiana, and as owner, it is my job to offer the truth, only the truth. If you get that reference, then you get extra points.
We'll send you a virtual Kit Kat.
Huh?
Is it a Matrix reference?
It is. Morpheus.
Because I'm gonna have to go brush up on my Matrix stuff tonight.
You have to watch it.
Wasn't prepared.
So that other voice we hear is Candace DeArmond. She's part of the Strix team as well. Go ahead, Candace.
Hi everybody, I'm Candace. I handle marketing and advertisements and making these two dudes look really sharp, as you can see, and they're nice, Matrix out. Where's your shades, by the way?
It's coming.
Hey.
Hang on.
Okay, just saying, don't
hold
slack
this
on me. So thank you guys for joining us today. We appreciate the support.
All right, so those are a few of the team members we have here at Strix. Just to tell you a little bit about Strix, we believe that there's always a better, simpler way to do almost everything in this world. So what that means is we are constantly searching for, we're adapting our processes to make sure that we do have the best IT solutions and overall solutions in place. We believe that part of this responsibility is to help educate our clients, as well as others out there like the Facebook Nation, educate them on things like the current resources that they might be using at their home or office. We're going to bring awareness to cybersecurity risks, and we're going to talk about just the general happenings of the IT world today. We like to throw in some productivity tips about every month or so, and that's actually what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be looking at the Eisenhower matrix, which is also known as the urgent important matrix. We will be discussing what the matrix is, why distinguishing between your urgent and your important tasks is so critical, and then we're going to go ahead and dive right into how you apply it to your life today. But all of you that are involved with us, even on Facebook land, y'all have a choice. Do you really want to know what the matrix is? The Eisenhower matrix, what it is? By choosing to stay in this Chill with Jim episode, you are deciding to take the red pill, and you agree to seeing just how deep the rabbit hole goes. All right. Got to cheese it up. So there's our matrix theme coming through strong, also with our great black outfits. So first thing first, what is the Eisenhower matrix? Well, this is a method of prioritizing your tasks based on their urgency and their importance. What it helps you do is it helps you determine the activities which are most important and the ones that really don't deserve your attention at all. This is actually the brainchild of our 34th president, Dwight D. Eisenhower. So as you can imagine, as president, Eisenhower, he faced a lot of tough decisions every day. So what he did, he actually invented this principle, and it includes a box with 4 different quadrants. And this helped him organize his duties by urgency and importance. Now, one of my favorite quotes, Eisenhower has a lot of good quotes, but this is one and it relates exactly to what we're talking about. But he says that what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. So that is a quote that when we're planning our daily goals, our daily schedules, that's a quote we should always keep in mind, because sometimes what feels like it is the most important thing is really just something urgent that's going to distract us. Now, interesting, Eisenhower's method was so effective that over 3 decades later, in his best-selling book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey actually, he repackaged what Eisenhower had, all of his insights, and he brought this principle to much larger audiences pretty much all over the world. And this is a framework that helps you prioritize and helps you eliminate time wasters that are in your life and moves you towards creating more mental space and progression on the goals that are really important to you. So I believe it is always important to start with the why. Why is this important? Why is it important that we put this in our lives? Well, researchers show that there's a curious pattern in human nature. We have this innate ability to have our attention drawn to the most time-sensitive tasks. These tasks are going to take priority over the tasks that actually have a greater reward. So if there's an urgent task, we run to go and focus on it, where these other tasks that may not be urgent are getting put on the back burner. This psychological quirk is actually known as the mere urgency effect, and it explains why we're so bad at managing our tasks and our time. We're almost always more likely to prioritize tasks with a deadline over tasks that have a long-term payoff. There is some good news here, though. The mere urgency effect can be reversed. The way you can do it is when you participate in considering the consequences of all of your choices at the time you select them. That's when you'll notice basically a shift in your thinking, that you're going to be more likely to choose the important task over the less important urgent task. So this is a very important role in our lives and can help us just reorganize what we're looking to accomplish. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and give you a little peek at what this matrix looks like. And at any point in time, if you guys have any questions, any comments, would like to hop on in, just feel free to hop on in. Just stop me from talking and come on in. So, and you guys can all see the matrix I have up now. Is that correct? Cool. Cool. So what this does now, I want you to know that one thing that's very important here is, remember, Neo, that I can only show you the door. You're the one who has to open it. The Eisenhower matrix, what it does is it helps you visualize all your tasks in a quadrant type form that will allow you to depict which ones are urgent, which ones are important, and the relationship to your day-to-day. Now, the tasks that you need to accomplish, the bigger projects, they're all going to fall into one of these 4 quadrants. So I'm going to go over each quadrant just a little bit. Here you have the urgent and important, quadrant number 1. Not urgent and important, quadrant 2. Urgent and not important, quadrant number 3. And then number 4 is not urgent and not important. It's important to understand that sometimes it's hard for us to really distinguish what's urgent, non-urgent, what's important, what's not important. So here's a little piece, a little tidbit that Stephen Covey helps you break it down with. So urgent matters are those which require immediate action. These are the visible issues that pop up and demand your attention right now. Often urgent matters come with clear consequences for not completing these tasks. When you look at important matters, these are the ones that contribute to your long-term goals and to life values. These items require planning and thoughtful action. But when you focus on these important matters, you end up managing your time, energy, and attention rather than kind of mindlessly using all of these resources in 1,000 different directions. It's important to keep in mind that everybody's goals, what's important to everyone else, it just kind of depends on your own values and your own personal goals. So no one can really tell you what's going to be important in your life. You just got to figure it out yourself. So we're going to look a little more deep into each quadrant. Quadrant number 1, things with a clear deadline that have consequences. These are the ones that you pretty much have to take care of right away. Most of these are going to be sprung on you from an external source. Maybe you have a medical issue pop up, your tire goes flat on the highway. Or maybe they're things that you put off until you're all of a sudden facing the looming deadline that you've been avoiding for the last 2 weeks. These tasks are going to put you into like a crisis mode. Quadrant one tasks are inevitable. Even if you never procrastinate, they're still going to happen. But the problem comes when you start to put all your focus on these unexpected or deadline-driven tasks, and you start excluding all of your long-term goals, the ones that are really most important to you. So Covey actually, he cautions that spending too much time here can lead to stress, burnout. It'll give you a sense that your days are out of your control. You're going to spend most of your days feeling like you're putting out fires. Now, if you're not a fireman, this is not what you want to be doing. It will quickly rob you of your energy and passion for all of the other tasks in your life. And it will lead to escapism, which is the dreaded quadrant number 4. Quadrant 2, not urgent and important. Now, these are tasks and activities that can help you achieve your long-term goals. They may not have a deadline, so it's very easy for us to put them off in favor of the urgent tasks. It's very important to note here that these tasks in quadrant 2, they're the ones that are going to have the greatest effect on your long-term effectiveness and completing all of your life goals. These are the really important things. Quadrant 2 is where you're going to find the sweet spot of your personal time management. You're going to focus on opportunities and growth. Living from this quadrant of the matrix means that you are proactive and that you're growing your skills and contributing to accomplishing all your meaningful goals. It's said that this is where the real deep work happens and keeps you free from all the other pressing distractions. Quadrant 3, all right. Urgent, not important tasks, described best as busy work. These tasks are often based on expectations set by other people, and they do not move you closer to long-term goals. Quadrant 3 is actually where the mere urgency effect we talked about earlier, this is where it lives. It drives you to complete tasks because of a assumed or real deadline that takes you away from your actual meaningful goals. You know, giving that quadrant 3 tasks are urgent, but typically related to someone else's priorities. Spending too much time in this square, it's going to feel like you're doing things that you have to do rather than the things that you really want to do. Focusing on quadrant 3 tasks may make you feel like you're living up to, you know, getting a lot of things done, but in fact, you're actually putting off a lot of your larger goals in life, and it'll start to feel like you're out of control. Quadrant 4, we listen to Darren Hardy every day. He's an inspirational kind of guy, speaker that helps you with productivity, but he calls this quadrant the devil's vortex. Not urgent, not important tasks. These are time-wasting tasks that really should be cut out of your life. These activities don't contribute to the progress of your goals. but can end up taking over large chunks of your time.
I feel like you're talking
Um,
about Facebook right now.
What'd you say?
I said, I feel like you're talking about Facebook right now.
Well, that's one of the examples is social media. Uh, you know, what's really deceiving about quadrant 4 is it's going to give you immediate gratification. It really will. It'll give you like a meaningful feeling while you're doing it, but ultimately you look back and it leaves you feeling unfulfilled. Now, don't get me wrong. Leisure time is very important. You know, even Eisenhower himself was who was a well-known bridge player. He was playing bridge nightly up to the day that D-Day started. So it is very, very important to still do your leisure activities, but you want to create a balance. You want to have basically a check on all of these quadrant 4s to make sure you're not spending all of your time there. You know, the way you spend your downtime can actually drain your energy, your passion, and your creativity for all the other things that are important to you. So I feel like that's a good stopping point for right now. We broke down each quadrant, kind of what they, you know, what they lead to, why they're important. And so I would love to get some questions, feedback from others out there. And I'm going to leave that matrix up for just a little bit.
Yeah, and I see we have Fran on the call here, and Fran, I don't know if you're in a position to talk about it, but for someone that is coming from a very kind of high pressure auto claims situation and managing claims, I'd love to get your perspective on managing using something like the Eisenhower matrix to manage all of those important urgent things that pop up in claims.
Hi, David. Hi, Jim. How are y'all?
Hey, Fran.
I saw Candace on there too.
Hey, Miss Fran.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I really have, I'm listening to this because a lot of the things that I used to use in different environments, I find them work differently. So that's why that's why this caught my eye to begin with, and that's why I'm listening to it. But I will tell you that no matter what you do, no matter how you decide you want to track what you need to do, it still falls within these categories. So what Jim is saying is exactly right. You know, your first look should tell you whether you have to stop and do that, and or whether you can delay it, or, you know, whatever your category turns out to be. But always, always, always remember, this is the hardest part for me personally, is that I still have to get back to those that aren't so urgent, and I really still have to do them.
Solid point. Solid point. I see, Brad, I see you unmuted yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a big supporter and user of the GTD methodology. Obviously you can apply these quadrants as you're going through your inbox of tasks that you put in there. It's a very good way to do it. But I think that the crucial part of GTD, like the fifth step, is that you have to review it. You can't just sit there and expect these to stack up and then you never go back and look at it. Because then you end up staying in quadrant 1 when all you're doing is urgent, urgent, urgent. And so I think that is key. What Fran said is that you've got to review it, and it's got to be systematized where you do it regularly.
Yeah, and for those of you not familiar with GTD, that's getting things done. Who is that?
It's David Allen.
David Allen, yeah, and that's another great method of keeping yourself productive on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and a great point about reviewing and you know, measuring. So the often used quote out there is, you know, once you start to measure something, it always improves. And this is a way to measure your day. What they actually recommend here is that when you're first starting this out, you can actually go back through your week or just keep track of the tasks you've done in the last 6 days, each day putting them in what box they go into, and then reviewing at the end of the week to see how much time you're spending in each. You know, they recommend putting an actual like hour next to, you know, a time frame that you actually spend on each task to see what's going on. I know there's been times in my past where I feel so overloaded and overwhelmed, like I don't have any time. And when I stop, I take a minute to really measure what's going on, to look at all of the variables I have. I find like, oh, well, that's why I don't feel like I have any time, because I'm spending this amount of time doing this, which there's no benefit, or it's those ones that slip away from you. Like, you know, I'm watching 2 hours of TV every night. It feels like I can't get anything done. Well, I mean, you have an extra 2 hours every day. Maybe cut that back to just an hour, and you got an extra hour to your day. So we can actually look at some examples. So, you know, quadrant 1, things that you might have that are urgent and important, you know, finishing a client project, that's going to be pretty important. You want to get that done. Submitting a draft article, responding to some emails. Just like Brad said, that's very, very important. We can get lost in our inbox without applying these principles. We'll just be in our inbox all day. Or picking up your sick kid from school. Candace and David, they have it real nice. If their kid is sick at school, all they gotta do is go into their living room because they homeschool. Look at that. They're living productively. Some examples of quadrant 2, where it's not urgent, but it's very important. You know, strategic planning, professional development, networking, exercising, eating right. Sales falls into this. They say networking, but I think, you know, sales has been a tougher concept for me, because when you get the gratification, it might be 3 months later after you started the sales process at the very beginning. So those you know, prospecting and sales, I think, fit perfectly into this category. Number 3, you're looking at, you know, things that you should delegate. So maybe you're spending a lot of time doing blog posts when you could outsource that to someone else. You're spending all your day scheduling. Seems kind of backwards there. You know, there you go again, responding to emails. Which emails are you responding to? You know, delegating meal prep. This is an example that was on there, and I wish I could delegate that.
You can't.
I'm not in a financial spot yet where I can just pay someone to come and cook me meals all day.
Well, that's where those ideas like Blue Apron come from. In Blue Apron, you subscribe to it, and they send you ready-made meals. What a lot of people end up doing is running to McDonald's and grabbing some food there, which is both unhealthy and more expensive than something like Blue Apron. They're not a sponsor of ours, but maybe they should be, right?
Maybe they should be a sponsor of my household, it sounds like. Yeah, and then quadrant 4, David touched on it. Social media. Ooh, it's a black hole. You know, we each of us promotes the Chill with Jim on our Facebooks, on our LinkedIn, and shoot, it gets you. It's just like, okay, I promoted it, and then all of a sudden you're like, 5 minutes later, what just happened? Where was I? I just got sucked in. Watching TV, I have done a great job about eliminating that from my life. It's an important one. That's another one that I can't ignore. If there's a TV on in a room and someone's talking to me, I'm like, TV, what's going on? So video games, eating junk food, all these types of things. Kind of give you some examples of things and where they might go. David, what's the secret number 4 that you have? that maybe no one else knows about you?
The secret number 4, that not important, not urgent thing that I do.
Yep.
Um, well, I mean, I can tell you the biggest one. They should be a sponsor too. TigerDroppings.com. I guess it's similar to social media. It's man, I can get caught up. It's a message board, and it is such a colossal waste of time generally. So don't go to TigerDroppings.com because you will get sucked in. So that's definitely probably the biggest one for me.
It's like Facebook. It's one of those that you can kind of justify because there is a lot of great information and heads up about politics, sports, different things, but it's still a huge wormhole.
I have seen things on TigerDroppings.com that it was big news, and it showed up there before any of the other news. But that happens, like once every 2 years or something.
And you know how he hides it, Jim? He plays hide and seek with the girls. So if you want to play hide and seek with David, you can never, ever, ever find him.
Yep.
He's in the closet hiding behind the suitcases on Tiger Dropping.
Oh my gosh.
But
Oh
I'm
my
playing
gosh.
with my
you
kids,
sneaky,
which is
sneaky man.
It's
important. And
yeah, it's two birds, one stone, right?
yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, that actually I kind of wanted to do a little interactive thing here. I'm gonna stop sharing that screen. I'm gonna share another screen here. So I went ahead and just did a few things to get the ball rolling here. So for me today, what's urgent and important for Jim? Well, I need to host this chill with Jim. So that's in my do list. I need to do it. I've actually been prepping for it most of the morning to make sure I, look good in my matrix gear and all that. But so that's one there. Something that's important to me, but it doesn't have really a deadline. It doesn't have a time frame. Is to practice my Tai Chi. Health benefits. I enjoy it. It's kind of like moving meditation. All things that are important to me, but it's one of the things that seems to fall off of my schedule quite often. If I'm not going to practice it with other people, it's one of the ones that falls off, and I don't always get to it. So urgent, but not important. And I want to talk about this one because it's important to distinguish here. Creating the marketing material for this Chill with Jim. It is it's urgent. Well, it probably could be it's not important for my role at the company, but it's important to us. But the reason I should delegate this is because I suck at it. So I'm not good at creating marketing material. I've tried. Candace is way better. So what does that mean? That us as a company, we delegate this task to Candace because Jim is not good at it. And then not urgent, not important. Binge watching Naruto, which if there's any anime fans out there, it is a good TV show that you can get sucked in pretty quickly. And so I wanted to open it up only to those who would like to share. But who out there has a urgent and important task that they had to do today or have to do today? I'm going to go ahead and fill it in here. Come on, someone.
No one wants to volunteer.
All right. Well, that means David has to be my guinea pig. We'll see if we'll get other people in the other quadrants. Maybe it's easier for the other quadrants.
I hosted a Rotary meeting today. It's a virtual Rotary meeting, and that's one of those things that when I do that, which is just occasionally, it kind of always distracts me, and I find that it keeps me distracted. for probably at least a day beforehand. So
Okay.
that's one of those. Not urgent, important. Well, there are so many things on this list, but a lot of the strategic marketing that we're working on, we have the Shield products that we've talked about in the past, and we're that have become very popular, but we have to still get the word out. And it's one of those things that's very important to both the future of Strix and the future of our clients. But it's one of those things that can always seem to put off a little bit. So that, I would say that's that one. Important, or excuse me, not important, but urgent. We've been kind of working on this internally. I would say the sales part of things, as I tried to back off of that, and I have to really make myself back off of it. It's urgent. It needs to be done. But like Jim said with the marketing material, it's not important for me to do right now because I need to be at the strategic level, and it's something that I can delegate to Jim, and he can get out there and be more effective because he's not as distracted. That's something that he can focus on in his important, not urgent area. And then deleting, well, already mentioned tiger droppings. Yeah. All right. And I see Lila raised her hand. So Lila, welcome, and
come on in.
Good to hear from you, and go ahead and lay it out for us here.
Well, obviously mine are not going to have to do with what needs to be done in your company.
Right.
So I hope you'll just deal with the fact that these are my urgent. And
yeah, that's what we're looking for. That's what
okay.
we're looking for.
Exactly
my
what we're looking
for today, because I am a freelance writer and marketer, my urgent task is to find work. It's to, every day I have to, send out proposals for work, and until I'm so overloaded that I can't see straight, and then I chill out for a little while and just do the work that I've gotten. And I guess that would fall under the not urgent, important, but actually finding the work is urgent and important. And then once I have a job, it becomes urgent and important.
Right.
So for the not urgent and important, I'm not really sure what falls under that category for me.
I would think for you, let's say you sign a new client, it's not necessarily immediately urgent because it may not be due for another 3 weeks. And so it's very important you get it done because you won't get this client again if you don't do the work. But it's, you look at it, I can get that done in about 16 hours, let's say. So it's not due for another 3 weeks. So let me just put that off. Have you ever felt that?
Well, that would be luxury for me. I would love to have that happen. What actually happens for me is that people don't hire me until they're in a bind. And they're like, oh my God, I can't finish this in time, and I'm not going to win this $25 million contract if I don't have you finish my proposal. And so then I am, working 20 hours a day for 9 days straight to get that done, and then it's on to the recycle, find work, and work till I can't see straight. And so I unfortunately I have a crisis management job, and I didn't.
That you didn't sign up for. Nice. Well, what are some of those things that maybe you could delegate?
There's just me. I'd like to have a pet. Maybe I could delegate some, stress management to the pet.
We're going to put it down. Yeah, and then, this doesn't only have to be business. This can be personal life. This can be a mix of the two. So like, delegating, it could be anything. Like if I need help, paying someone to mow my yard. It's paying the neighbor boy to help me mow my lawn, something like that.
Yeah, I do actually. I delegate. I have. You were mentioning not being able to make your food. I do delegate, and I have other people cook for me. And you know, because when I'm working 20 hours a day, cooking's not an option, and
Yes.
it's just it's you have to weigh the priority level, and it's you know, even if I have to order the food from the jambalaya shop, it's less expensive than taking time off of my, you know, because I pay myself by the hour, and so when I do that, you know, that's food processing costs compared to, you know, work per hour or wages per hour, and the food falls off the train the quickest.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then you have any quadrant fours that you seem to get, and it sounds like you don't have any time, like 20 hours a week, but maybe there's something that slips through.
I
Netflix?
definitely do watch TV when I can, because it's my I use it for mood control. You know, I can watch something that's got a really driving, hardcore theme going if I need that type of mood, and then I'll watch something that's got, you know, kittens or something if I'm needing to relax, or watching waterfalls. So I do watch more TV than I need to. So that can definitely go there.
All right. Well, I appreciate you hopping in and being involved in this discussion. I'm just trying to open this up so we can get a little bit of back and forth here. David, it looks like Todd wrote some things in there. You I've been talking a lot today. You want to touch on those?
Where did he put them here?
Oh, actually, he sent it to me privately. Never mind.
Okay.
You can't read it. Ha ha.
I'm going to delegate that, Jim, if that's okay.
Yeah. So for Todd, he's got urgent and important quadrant 1. He needs to reply to potential clients and setting up information meeting. So that's one that he has in his quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 of the urgent, not important. Well, actually, wait, he's got 2 here for urgent and important. He needs to develop curriculum for upcoming training program. So actually, that might be the not urgent and important. So that's quadrant 2. So you probably got a couple of weeks to get it done, a week to get it done. That's one of those easy to push off things. Not important and urgent. Suggest changes to a SOP that the organization is developing. And David, what does SOP stand for?
Standard operating procedure. So that's how are you working, and how do you expect people to do a particular job, which those are very helpful when you're talking about delegating. So just an interesting connection there.
All right, and then we have not urgent and not important. His is reading interesting emails that have content unrelated to my important activities. That's Tiger Droppins. Is it sending you emails? Awesome.
Lila,
Thank you,
did you have
Todd.
something else?
Yeah, I wanted to let Todd know that I can help him with all of his items that he just listed, that I am available to. I write SOPs, and I reply to clients. I can do all of those things as a help.
See, she's taking care of that important, urgent work of finding work there. So, Todd, if you'd like to talk to Lila, let us know, and we can send her information to you.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Anybody else there? Maybe you don't have to say all four. You just got one or two you want to add to
Um,
the discussion?
I'm interested to hear other people's not urgent, not important, especially if it's something other than social media. That seems to be the biggest one. But and then if anybody's got ideas for avoiding it, like
Number 4, quadrant 4.
no one wants to
Maybe
volunteer.
all the good ones are taken. So, but yeah, there's quite a few things out there. I think, I guess thinking outside of the box a little bit, gossip,
Yeah.
talking on the phone with someone about irrelevant things for a long time. That could be one. Sometimes there's family discussions that might fall into there where you really don't have to be part of them, but you just want to get in there just to maybe pick at someone or say your 2 cents. All right. Well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I do have a few follow-up things. Since we're talking about quadrant 4 anyways, these, this is where most of the time we're going to think all of this is things that are going to harm you. But let's look at it the other way as a well-balanced quadrant for the things that can help you out. Like I mentioned, Eisenhower was still playing bridge every night until D-Day happened. He was also known and criticized for taking a whole bunch of golf outings while he was in office. But a recent study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that employees that spend their off-job leisure time, like how employees spend their off-job leisure time is a strong predictor for how much energy and positivity they're going to express the following day. So they found that employees who engaged in self-mastery skills, self-mastery, self-growth activities, maybe it's exercise, volunteering, these people were more motivated the following day when they got to work in the morning. Employees who relaxed with yoga, meditation, or by listening to music, they approached their workday in a much more calm state than the other employees they found.
Yeah, we talked about Stephen Covey earlier, and one of the things in 7 Habits, I think that's where it is talking about sharpening the saw. And there's that fable out there of the two men that are going to cut down a tree, and you've got one young guy, he's big, he's athletic, and then you've got an older guy, and the young athletic guy jumps in, he starts sawing away, and the older guy sits there and he's just kind of taking it easy. He's just sharpening the saw. And the young guy at first is just laughing at this old man. I'm going to beat him so bad. And, he just keeps going. Well, he starts slowing down. The older gentleman gets up and he starts sawing. And every cut of that blade just goes deeper and deeper and faster and deeper. And the older guy that spent some time, that has learned through life to take some time, sharpen your saw, get ready to go educate yourself if that's what it is, taking some downtime so that you're rested. You're going to do better in the long run, because every cut that you make is cutting deeper. It's doing more. Every motion you make is doing more. So I think that, that's why I spend so much time on tiger droppings.
Well, on the other side,
excuse, I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, on the other side of things, David, employees who engaged in distracting activities to avoid or ignore problems, like watching too much TV or maybe social media, or just unplugging, getting distracted, avoiding all their problems. They actually did show the first day or two, they showed a renewed positivity towards the workday. However, with it their continuing of the distraction and their escapism, their moods and their motivation actually worsened as the week progressed. In other words, distraction is good in moderation, but habitual distracting results in less work satisfaction overall. So as human beings, we like to escape when things get tough sometimes. We do like to unplug, as I say, or just escape for a while. And it's good in moderation, but, and I know from personal experience, once you get caught up and this is how you handle when things get tough, you're going to escape. You fall into that hole of looking back at the last week, 2 weeks, month. Like, what happened? What happened? I don't feel fulfilled. There's something missing in my life. Well, it's because you're not really attending to those important things that you should be at least giving some thought to.
Yeah, Jim, I don't know if you're going to get into it, but one thing that I think is important to keep in mind in quadrant 3, the urgent, not important. A lot of times you have to look at that as it's not important to you, because this is the trap that we get in where other people want us to take care of their priorities, and that's why email is so dangerous. When you're going through email, really what you're doing when you're looking at and responding to an email is putting someone else's priorities on your plate, because they sent you that email, they want you to respond, so now you're responding to their priorities, and that's where it mentions delegating, but just being willing to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I think delegating it to a no list actually is also important as you're looking through your emails or having phone calls. If people are coming to you with something that's urgent, but it's important for them, you really have to be careful. Say, I understand the urgency. I'm not in a position to take that on right now. Maybe this person over here can do it, or go look at this website or something to take care of that, and let them go take care of their own urgent, important matter. Great point.
Yeah, the Warren Buffett says that 99. That one of the biggest secrets to his success was that 99% of the time he says no. So he says no to almost all the things that are probably quadrant 3 type things, or maybe they're what we call the shiny objects. The shiny object is like, oh, maybe Strix should do meal prep because we're a technology company. We're efficient. We could do efficient meal prep. Shiny object. Shiny object.
That sounds like me.
Don't take it. Say no. Just say no.
Yeah.
And so that's a very important point there, David, and I appreciate it. I didn't have that on the list. But yeah, delegating it to this is I like your suggestion of giving them a resource to figure it out themselves, because then you're still helping in a way and you're not shutting them down. So
yeah, so as you're out there and you're trying to figure out how do I manage all of this, there is help available. So there are apps, and you can go online. There are some built specifically for iPhone or your PC or whatever. There are apps out there that can help you identify those things if you need that sort of help. But I think the most important aspect of it is just being aware that as you look through your email, as you look through your task, everything coming in, be aware. And sometimes the best technology is really a piece of paper. I like the quadrants, and yeah, I really feel like having a dry erase paper that you can set on your desk, and just as stuff comes in, be able to jot it down. Sometimes that's the best technology. So
yeah, I agree. There's been multiple people, successful people, who attribute their their productivity, where they get a lot of their drive is they sit down every Sunday and they go over the quadrants detailed with everything they can think of for the week that they're going to have to do. And they plan out on a Sunday all these different tasks, what quadrant they're going to fall into, so that they have a overall focus for the week. And then, like David said, as things pop up, they're able to maybe do a daily quadrant or just add them as they see fit into each quadrant. And so, you know, Darren Hardy talks about this method all the time. He said he met this uber successful guy on his yacht, and the guy set him down for this secret to his success. And what the guy showed him was, you know, the Eisenhower matrix and how to use it. And
Yeah.
so he says every Sunday, this is what he does. He plans out his entire week. Things he's got to delete, he deletes them. Things he has to delegate, he delegates them. But it gives you this great overall picture of how and where you can spend your time.
Yeah, and we as a company, we kind of do this on a weekly basis. So we've identified some major initiatives. That's what we call them, major initiatives, and those are important things. And what we do on a weekly basis, those are kind of in the important, not urgent area until they become more urgent. So once a week, we're reviewing that and we're beginning to schedule it out for the next week because those items have become more important. We're approaching that line where it's a blazing fire. So we use Planner for that, Microsoft Planner. If you're an Office 365 subscriber, it comes with that. But a lot of the project management apps out there can do the same thing, but we identify, okay, these are our major initiatives as a company. These are our major initiatives. These are important, not urgent. And then weekly, we go through that list and say, okay, this is urgent, this is urgent, this is urgent. This is what we're going to work on this week. This is what we're going to focus on this week. So that's kind of how we do it internally.
And I see, Brad, you turned your video off. I don't know if you're tied up, but we have a few more minutes. I was just curious if you had, I know you said that the Get Things Done is one of yours, but with your team, is there something that you use to help kind of steer the ship in the right direction if you're available?
It's like we're lost him.
I'm super curious about that.
Or anyone else that's had to manage an entire team and focusing that, we'd love to hear your input as well. Quiet crowd today.
I'm sure all those 1.5 million Facebook watchers want to just hop on in, but they didn't get in on the call. Took the easy way out. Well, okay. Well, I mean, we've had some great discussion today. I think we've done a great job about just explaining, you know, what this matrix is. Hopefully it helps all of you. I do recommend just trying it out for a few days, see what you think about it. There's tons of resources out there regarding the Eisenhower matrix. You can look them up on Google very easily. Stephen Covey's book, there's actually a lot of podcasts. They're podcasts now, but there's video of him kind of breaking down each chapter of his book that I dove into this week. That's fantastic knowledge out there. I do recommend checking that out as well. And we'll start to wrap things up. Now, David, I always like this part where you share about next week's topic because you're so enthusiastic about it always.
Yeah, well, I have a voice in my head as I read this one, and I don't know if it's going to come across, but next week's topic is, yeah, I'm still on Windows 7. What of it? I don't know if that comes across. So we're going to be talking about, believe it or not, there are folks out there that are still on Windows 7, and maybe, I mean, who cares? I'm still on Windows 7. We want to talk to you. We want to see, does it matter? and we're going to dig in a little bit deeper. So it's a little bit more on the cybersecurity side of things, and whether it's important to still be on Windows 7 or not.
Yep, and we just dropped that information in the chat there, I think. That's this week's. So this is very important. If you are on Windows 7, come and listen. We're going to give you 1,001 reasons not to be on Windows 7. And actually, you may think, you know, especially of us in the tech world, that everybody's upgraded, but we actually did have a prospect that we worked with in the last 2 months who is still using Windows 7 for their entire environment. 10 plus computers on Windows 7. Ah, that's all right, Brad. Brad said he wasn't able to come on when I asked him because he was pulled away on one of those quadrant 1 tasks. I love it. Good interaction. So, well, we will see you all next week. It is going to be the same chill time and the same chill channel. Candace just put in there if you want to check out any of our old episodes. They're great. They're all great. You can see me screw up on a big number that I didn't know how to say once last week. Gosh, sometimes I get my tongue twisted when I'm doing these things, and I just couldn't get that number out. So you can laugh at me if you want. Go to our YouTube page. We just dropped that link in there, and check them out. Also, we're going to send you a follow-up email. If you have any suggestions on things you'd like to discuss, technology related or otherwise, we'd love to discuss them with you. Have a Chill with Jim episode about that subject, whatever is near and dear to your heart. So please let us know. And from all of us at the Strix team, we sincerely thank you for supporting us and for participating in our Chill with Jim episode.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next time.